Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the morning routine. It is Wednesday. Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday, September 27th, 2017, episode number 183. So glad that you guys are here this morning. I hope that your week is going nicely. I can't believe it was Wednesday. Monday, as you know, since I was a traveling man, yesterday felt like it was a Monday because I was actually behind on work, trying to catch up and running all day long at my desk, just trying to catch up somewhat. So by the end of the day today, I'll be fully caught up. It takes time, you know how that works. So, but we're already on hump day. We're already here in the middle of the week. Boom, bang. So yesterday was a big day, as you know. It was my youngest's birthday, which is always an exciting day. And I only saw her in the morning because she was gone. She, was celebrating some things on Monday. And then yesterday she was doing some things with friends. The older they get, the less you see them. It makes me sad, But at the same time, I'm thrilled to see her being able to do all kinds of cool things, right? That's what we raise kids for, right? So, Julie, good morning. Good to see you. And I know, right, you're dreaming of the day that your child can, walk out the door and go do something all by themselves. Right? We all do. It's awesome, man. So, but then last night was bowling night, of course. So number one son is in his bowling league. And, last week I took him to bowling and it was awesome. He had a bye week. So we were in the bowling alley and then out super fast because there was no team to play against. And then I paid the price last night because they played head to head against the slowest team in the league. And I should have packed a sandwich and a Snickers bar because I wasn't going anywhere real fast, as you know. So, and then to cap off the night, my wife was gone all day and she came home with presents for me, a poster and a book. If you recall, probably 2 weeks ago, I covered an article about it was about procrastination and how to get things done. And I said it was by one of my favorite authors and speakers, but boom, Jon Acuff. And my wife got to spend some time with him yesterday with some people. And hey, John, thanks, buddy. I'm glad you like my name, man. That's awesome. So I can't wait to read this book. And I've heard great things about it. You know what? I'll give you a review of this when I'm finished with it. So it's called Finish, Give Yourself the Gift of Done. And it's all about how to get things done more efficiently. So I'll give you a review when I'm done with it. So, but hey, it's Wednesday. Here we go. So some stories for you today. What do I got? Let's see. So let's start with this one here. So all these big storms, right? These hurricanes in Florida and Texas, there's so many. One of the things I like to do with the stories that I share is I hope to bring you stories that a majority of them are things that you've never really thought about, or, it's information that you're not capturing from just a general conversation or watching the regular news. So this story had to do with all these storms and something that I really never thought about. And that is, what do they do with all of the debris? You've got all these cars, all these homes, all these businesses that are destroyed. Insulation and sewage water and sheetrock and furniture and all this stuff, just mountains of it. Well, what do they do with it? That's a lot of stuff, right? So this article, where do they put all that toxic hurricane debris? Houston officials said this week it will cost at least $200 million to dispose of 8 million cubic yards of storm debris. More than 100 homes in Houston were damaged, let alone all the other stuff. 8 million cubic yards of storm debris. This would include wood, plaster, drywall, metal, oil, electronics. All of it's waterlogged and filled with all kinds of junk. It's gross, And where do they go with it? Because they can't really put it into a landfill because then all that stuff leaks into the water system underneath and contaminate the groundwater. The gypsum and drywall alone decomposes into hydrogen sulfide gas, which who would have known that? I wouldn't have known that, right? So a example of this is in Versailles, Louisiana. After Hurricane Katrina in 2015, Louisiana state environment officials were so overwhelmed with construction debris that they opened up a new landfill. And years later, local residents found medical waste, oil cans, and electronics, stuff that was supposed to be sent to more protective sites, floating through the yards and in their neighborhoods. Florida is asking, this is a really cool thing. Listen to this. Florida is asking residents to report storm debris to a graphic web portal that went up Friday showing reports from around the state. Mariana Huntley of Ormond Beach reported a wrecked boat sitting upside down next to my dock, leaking oil and fluids into the river, while other people reported smashed wooden piers, blah, 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 stuff. So what this is this is a site. I went there and looked at it, and it's a web portal. I don't know the address. If you go to the show links and go to this article and click on the link there, you can see it. And it's where everybody in those areas reports something. And on the map is little pins, and you can click on the pin and see what they reported, like this boat that's sitting upside down leaking oil into the water, or down trees or whatever. It's actually pretty cool. So they're reporting this stuff so that then state officials can come around and make the rounds and start cleaning up debris that's potentially dangerous to the environment and to the neighborhood and to things like that. But the question still is, what do they do with it? The answer is, they don't know. That's this whole article. They haven't figured it out yet. And that's a lot of garbage to try to figure out. You think about all that stuff from those hurricanes, and they don't know where to put it yet safely. So interesting, but interesting article. I would go there and check out that link. It's pretty cool, actually. So, all right. So next, this is going to be work related, guys. Okay. First, we're going to start with 3 resume trends that are working. I was talking to a friend about a week ago. He's like, I got to put together a resume. He's my age, so mid-40s, right? Very young man. And he's like, when's the last time you put together a resume? I'm like, haven't. And can't remember one, like so long ago. So this is 3 resume trends that are working, okay? You only get one shot for your resume to make an impression, so you want to make sure you're taking advantage of the hottest trends and stay away from the ones that are better ignored. 3 trends on your resume to embrace and use. 1, short and sweet, right? This is different from when I was very young. When I was very young, it was great if you had multiple pages. Now, it's not. Shorter resumes are easier to read, but they need to get to the point immediately and with powerful, precise language. So be short, but do good short. Number 2, hyperlinks. This is new. One easy way to make sure that your resume stays concise but still packs a punch is providing hyperlinks to relevant information and resources. Hyperlinks are very cool. They're for people who don't understand, it's where the text is highlighted and you can click on it and it takes you to a website. So obviously this is best served by a digital copy, like if you were to make it online and then email it to them, because then they could click on it, it would take them right to the website. If you printed it out, they would have to go and take the link and type it out. It still works, but better in the digital one. Use links appropriately and only to showcase illustrations that support you as a candidate. So you don't want to send a hyperlink to somebody that takes them to like the furring kitten or the purring kitten or anything like that. So 3, digital add-ons. You may want to try, this is awesome. Listen to this idea, guys. You may want to try a video cover letter. A quick video will capture recruiters' attention and leave them learning more about you than they would through those 6 seconds. Applicants should record videos with the intention of showcasing their personality, communication style, and why they are the right person for the job. I love that idea. That's fantastic. Once again, this is one that you would email to somebody, which most resumes these days are done over email and not much in person anymore. So 2 trends to avoid for us old people who are used to how they used to be. 1, design over functionality. An eye-popping resume can look good on paper, but if you get too caught up with making a visually appealing resume, you might prevent your resume from ever getting into the hands of a recruiter. This approach shows off the creative ability and eye for design and likely won't make it past a applicant tracking system. So you want to make sure that you've got the right content in there more than the design being splendidly amazing, okay? Last but not least, avoid skill points system. I remember this when I was young, guys. If you remember this, it was when you would write down things like proficient in Microsoft Word, and then you would give yourself a grade, 7 out of 10, right? Like I grade myself a 7 out of 10 is perfect. Good at whatever, management skills. I give myself a, 1 out of 10, or, you would never say that. Stay away from that. The problem is that quantifying your skill set is vague and arbitrary, and too many applicants are tempted to give themselves top marks for everything. If you rate every skill a 10 out of 10, recruiters aren't going to believe what they're reading. So that's one thing to avoid. So there you go. So now that you know how to do the proper resume in today's age, now the key is when you get the job, how to actually work smarter and not harder. So here we go. Don't dive right in. First, spend a week keeping a time log. Write down what you're doing, how long it's taking you, who is interrupting you, and what they wanted. Because the biggest time management mistake people make is not realizing how much time they waste. That's interesting, right? So there you go. So that's one tip. Let someone else do it. Working smarter means focusing on the areas in which you're strongest and letting go of things you're doing for other reasons. High performers, here we go, guys, listen up. High performers tend to think it's easier to do things themselves. But, you love a sentence that has a but in the middle of it. When it comes to working smarter, we often spend a lot of effort on trying to fix the problems that we see. To be more effective, we got to ask for help and enlist people who are better at certain tasks and functions than you are. Work when you feel like it. This is very counterintuitive, but it makes a whole lot of sense. Paying attention to your energy cycles is critical to working smarter. When you're feeling focused and energetic, you're going to get more work done in a shorter period of time. So if your peak efficiency is 9 a.m., make sure you're ready to go and at your desk at 9 a.m. and utilize that 90 to 100, 120 minutes of your peak time. If your peak time is 1 o'clock, make sure you're ready to go at 1 o'clock and you're there and you're prepared and you get it done. It makes perfect sense to know what your rhythm is during the day and make most use of it. Prepare for wasted time. Read the manual. Investing time in reading the construction manual, instruction manual, and getting appropriate training can yield many hours of return on investment. Be more bureaucratic. Process improvement has become an entire industry and specialization as more professionals try to take tasks more easily repeatable with less time and effort while maintaining quality. So there's a lot of stuff in here. Lay off the junk food because it crushes you. Stare at a photo. That's for motivation. So go check out the article and you can read it in more detail. It's time to move on. Let's go to some Google Trends. The top 10 most searched things on Google yesterday were, number 1, Khloe Kardashian. What? Where did that come from? The number 1 in the Google spot. I thought the Kardashians were gone, man. I don't know. Number 2, Young Dolph. Number 3, Chuck Person. Number 4, Wendy Williams' husband. Number 5, Meghan Markle. Number 6, Menendez brothers. Wow, blast from the past, the Menendez brothers, huh? Number 7, Fixer Upper. Number 8, Alabama Senate election. Number 9, Roy Moore. Number 10 is the Champions League. And that is the top 10 most searched things yesterday on Google. Let's see what's trending on the news today. Top of the list is Hurricane Maria. Hurricane Maria victims in Puerto Rico struggle for basic needs. That is a sad place down there. I saw a news article yesterday about that a lot of people in Puerto Rico are going to be moving to the States because things are just so devastated down there. It's going to take forever to get it back together again. Next, we have Alabama Senate. Conservative firebrand defeats Trump pick in Alabama primary for U.S. Senate. Next, we have Twitter. Twitter explains why it won't take down Trump's North Korea tweet. Then we have James Mattis. Mattis arrives in Afghanistan hours before rockets explode at Kabul airport. Then we have the Ashes. Stokes, Vince, and Balance named in England's Ashes squad. That is from the game of cricket. Next, we have Jack Dorsey, which I've never seen the game of cricket played. Like, I've never watched a professional game of cricket. I'd be interested to see it, Next, Jack Dorsey. Twitter to test doubling tweet length to 280 characters. That would be a lot of Twitter action going on there, right? Next, we have Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico facing humanitarian crisis of millions left without essentials. Then we have Saudi Arabia, Saudi to lift driving ban on women. I didn't know they had a driving ban on women. Wow, that's crazy. And two more. Chuck Rosenberg, dismayed by Trump, head of Drug Enforcement Administration, to leave. And last but not least, Equifax CEO departs, forgoes bonus after massive data breach. Kudos to you, young sir or old sir, whoever you are, for foregoing your bonus and lack of, I don't know, company failure, I guess. So there you have it. So that's what's trending on the news this morning. Let's go on over, guys. Let's get ourselves a passage of wisdom, something we can sink our teeth in today and put in the forefront of our minds as we work through this day. So today's passage of wisdom is two verses. Today we are going to read Psalm 40, verses 1 and 2. Psalm 40, verses 1 and 2. Here we go. I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard me cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. I waited patiently for the Lord. That, to me, is one of the important parts of this passage today, guys. I was talking to some friends this weekend, it kept coming up. I think we've talked about it here before in the morning routine, that we have to leave for people who are doing and in tough spots and whatever's going on, for all of us, we need to leave space somewhere for the God that we're asking for guidance and help from to work. If we don't wait patiently ever, where do we leave room for him, right? If we're so busy doing because we can make it happen, where does he fit in? He doesn't, right? If we don't wait patiently and allow him to intercede, if we're just always, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go. How? Where does he show up? We ask him for help, but then we don't. We just keep trucking and disregard and don't wait for him, right? So this is an encouragement passage today. I waited patiently, and he turned and heard me cry. If we wait patiently, he will show up. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He will lift us up and help us move forward. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He will pick us up. He will intercede and take us to a safe place if we allow him to step in and walk alongside of us when we're asking him to. The first key is to ask. The second is to let him, right? Awesome. Let's pray, guys. Let's get this day started. Father, thank you so much. Thank you for this Wednesday. We're so excited to have this week and Monday and Tuesday under our belts, and now we're on Wednesday, and the great things that are to come today, the great opportunities, the great people and conversations we'll be able to get to have, the great, everything. There's so many things that can lie ahead. I mean, there's amazing things around every corner. Father, be with us today and help us find those things, because sometimes there's things in our life that all we can see is the things that aren't so great as we go through our day. Father, and for those of us who are struggling in those days, help pick us up. Help us to wait patiently and to lean on you. And please, Father, help us be patient as we wait and as you show up and lift us up and put us on a safe place to stand. Thank you that we can depend on you, and we know that you're always there. We just have to allow the space for you to step in and be part of our lives. Father, we love you and we thank you. Amen. And that, my friends, is a wrap. I'm so glad that you guys were here this morning. I hope your Wednesday is fantastic. And I can't wait to be back here until tomorrow morning. Until tomorrow, don't forget, everybody, to be exactly who you were meant to be. I love you guys. Bye.